Hello students, welcome to online biology class. Today we are going to cover day 7 of chapter 3. Every day you would be attending the online class and doing the homework for that day. Make sure that you have your textbook and notebook all the times with you while you are attending the class. For any queries, we will be having a synchronized session where you can interact and clarify your doubts. I hope children you are ready with the previous day's home assignment, right? And today we are going to study about some other topic of circulation, transportation, the circulatory system. So children, in the previous classes we are being studied that the circulatory system consists of three components. One it is heart, which we have already discussed in the previous sessions. And then the second component is blood, which already you have studied in your class 9th in animal tissues. And the third component is blood vessels. Right? Heart pumps the blood through these blood vessels. There are three types of blood vessels as stated by the discoveries of blood vessels by Fabrici, William Harvey, and also Marcello Malfacci. They are arteries, veins, and also capillaries. Right? What are the three major blood vessels? They are arteries, veins, and capillaries. We have seen, right? So arteries are the rigid blood vessels we have studied. Veins are less rigidly studied. Now let us study further what are the differences between arteries and veins and how they are. Right? So if you are going to study about the artery, this is a transverse section. This diagram shows you the transverse section of artery. Right? So generally we represent with TS, transverse section of artery. So you can look at arteries contains the outer layer is being made up of elastic fibrous coat. Right? It is elastic. That means what? It has got the property to expand as well as to contract. Okay. So it is elastic fibrous coat. Now beyond this elastic fibrous coat, we can look after a thick muscular layer is being present. This thick muscular layer, it provides rigidity to the artery. Now as the arteries are rigid, they can withstand with the pressure whatever the blood is going to come from the heart. Okay, so there is a thick muscular layer. And inner to that, you can look after endothelium or inner lining of cells, which we call it as endothelium, is going to be present. Right? And you can look after inner lumen. Lumen is very small or very narrow, you can call it. Okay. So, in case of artery, what you have seen, the outer layer is elastic fibrous coat. Inner to this, what is the main use of this elastic fibrous coat? So, to contract or to relax. Then next, inner to this elastic fibrous coat, you have seen a thick muscular layer, which helps to withstand the pressure. Then you have seen the inner endothelium cells or inner lining cells. Then a narrow lumen. This is about transverse section of lumen. Then let us see the same way transverse section of veins. When we are going to see the transverse section of veins, you can see tough fibrous coat. It is not elastic, it is tough fibrous coat, you can see, and muscular layer is very thin, and you can look after once again the endothelium, the inner lining cells, and you can see the wide lumen. The lumen is very wide. There the lumen is narrow. Here the lumen is very wide. So what you have seen in case of TS of veins, you have seen tough fibrous coat. Then next you have seen thin muscular layer. Then next you have seen the endothelium. Then next you have seen the wider lumen. Same way, let us see the capillaries. Already we have discussed Marcello Malfacci was the scientist who has discovered this capillaries. We have stated capillary is derived from Latin word which means hair-like structure. So you can look after, so it is having only endothelium, that's all. Lumen and endothelium. So you can look after, these are the endothelium cells. Right? The inner lining cells, whatever we were discussing there, only those cells are being present. This is of single layered thickness, what it is going to have. Single cell thickness layer, that's all what it is being present. This is about capillary. These are three types of blood vessels what are being present in our body. Now, what are these arteries and what are veins? Let us see. So, generally, when you ask any people what are arteries, immediately they reply you, arteries carry oxygenated blood. The blood vessels which carry oxygenated blood. Veins are the blood vessels which carry deoxygenated blood. And here, children, you should not reply in such a way. So, now let us see what are arteries and what are veins. Arteries, right? I hope you have remembered that the pulmonary artery is carrying the blood away from the heart. It is carrying the blood towards the lungs. Whereas systemic artery it is carrying blood towards whole body parts. So it is also taking the blood away from the heart. So arteries are the blood vessels which carry blood away from the heart. This is the definition of arteries. Right? What are arteries? Arteries are the blood vessels which carry blood away from the heart. Whether it is oxygenated blood or deoxygenated blood, it is secondary. Right? So the primary definition it goes as they are the blood vessels which carry blood away from the heart. Now, I hope children you have remembered superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, they bring the blood to the right atrium. That means what? Towards the heart. Pulmonary veins, they also bring the blood towards the heart, towards the left atrium. So therefore, what we can define veins as? Veins are the blood vessels which carry blood towards the heart. That means arteries they take the blood away from the heart and veins they carry the blood towards the heart. Okay. So this is the definition of artery and vein. Arteries are the blood vessels which carry blood away from the heart and veins are the blood vessels which carry blood towards the heart. Okay. Then let us try to find and we have known already capillaries are the blood vessels which join artery and vein. And I have told you the largest artery is nothing but aorta, right? Which is originating from left ventricle. This aorta it divides into smaller branches which are called as arteries. Right? So these arteries further divides into smaller branches which we are going to call them as arterioles. Okay. These arterioles they end with what it is called as capillaries. Right? Aorta, the largest blood vessel. Now, so as it is dividing, what happens? It becomes very narrow. As it is becoming narrow, what you will feel? The pressure keeps on decreasing. The pressure from aorta decreases to arteries, from arteries it decreases to arterioles. And finally it moves into capillary. And from capillaries, so the written blood vessels which are called as venules are going to be present. Number of venules, now here they are dividing, here they are joining. Venules they join together to form veins. And many veins they join to form vena cava. We have seen superior vena cava and also inferior vena cava, cava veins, right? So veins they keep on joining. Venules they join to form veins. Veins they join to form vena cava. And further vena cava they supply the blood to the heart. This is generally how the circulation is going to take place or carried because of this blood vessels, right? So what did I say you? The largest artery is aorta which divides into arteries, then arterioles, they end with capillaries. These capillaries they are present surrounding of the tissues. Now these capillaries, from these capillaries, venues are going to be formed, and venues they combine to form veins, and veins they combine to form vena cava, and vena cava they end with the heart. So therefore, arteries they carry the blood away from the heart, and veins are the blood vessels which carry blood towards the heart. Right? Apart from these two things, right, let us try to go with few other differences between arteries and veins. Now, so by looking after the transverse section, you can say which blood vessel is thick. Obviously, arteries are thick, veins are thin. The reason because muscular layer is thick in arteries and muscular layer is thin in veins. So therefore, arteries are thicker than veins. Then, so already we have discussed Gramilo Fabrisi. He discovered so there are walls in veins, right? These walls they allow the blood to pass only in one direction. Against the gravity, the blood is being pushed up, right? So these walls are being present in veins, but they are being absent in arteries. Okay. Then coming to the shape, right? So shape here, that means when blood is not being present, right? So arteries they can withstand, if they can retain their shape, they will be like that only, even blood is not being there. If you, even though you draw the blood out, arteries they can retain their shape. But so veins they collapse. Why? Because the muscle layer is very thin. So they collapse, right? Veins they collapse, whereas arteries they can retain their shape. Then obviously, as I told you, right, they carry the blood away from the heart. That is nothing but from the direction of blood flow will be from heart to body parts. Whereas in case of veins, the direction of blood flow will be from body parts to heart. And here you can look after, it is narrow, lumen is narrow. When lumen is narrow, that means what, volume is less, then pressure is more. So therefore, pressure in case of arteries they are more. This is one of the reason is about this lumen, and one more reason, that is they are directly receiving the blood from the heart, right? So what is happening here? The pressure is more in case of arteries and the pressure is less in case of veins, right? And so the type of blood, all arteries they carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery they carry deoxygenated blood for lungs for oxygenation. All veins they carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary veins, they originate in lungs and they carry oxygenated blood to the heart, right? So now like this, these are the few differences between arteries and veins, right? Let us recall once, right? So arteries are thick, veins are thin, walls are present in veins and absent in arteries. Arteries can retain their shape, veins collapse, right, when there is no blood. Arteries they carry the blood from heart to the body parts, whereas veins carry the blood from body parts to the heart. Pressure in arteries is more, pressure in veins is less, and all arteries they carry oxygenated blood except the pulmonary artery which carries deoxygenated blood. All veins they carry deoxygenated blood except the pulmonary veins which carry oxygenated blood. Right? Apart from these arteries, so blood vessels, right? So let us do something about blood which you haven't done with your standard 9. Right? So already you have studied there. Study of blood is called as hematology. Right? You have studied blood contains 3 different types of cells: RBC, that is erythrocytes, red blood corpuscles; white blood cells, right, white blood corpuscles, right, are leukocytes. Then the third type is blood granules. You have studied the role of RBC and also the role of WBC in your earlier standards. Now let us try to study about the role of blood platelets now. Right? So you know that blood platelets are the third type of blood cells, right? They are irregular in shape. This is what you have studied in your math class, right? Now their main role is coagulation of blood and clotting of blood. I hope oftenly you get injured when you are going to play outside, isn't it? Right? So the best example, so each and every one of us, we have got hurt, right, when we were learning the bicycle, right? So bicycle cannot be learned that easily without getting any hurt, right? So what happens during this? You have seen the blood oozes out, right? And after some few minutes, you can see blood starts getting clotted, right? You can see it started healing itself. A blackish or a brownish color, so solid mass is going to be clumped over there, right? So generally, so as soon as a person is being injured, the skin is being ruptured, then the blood vessels which are under skin, subcutaneous blood vessels, they are ruptured, then the blood starts oozing out, the blood starts flowing out. And within 3 to 6 minutes of time, coagulation of blood is going to take place. So if you want to know the clotting time of your body, so what you need to do, you need to apply some spirit to your finger. You need to take a pen, you need to take the needle, right, syringe and needle. So take care that the needle is good one, that means for freshly you have purchased it from the medical shop. Then you need to press tightly your finger, then you need to poke onto your finger. You need to see that a big red, blood drop is going to be accumulated. Now you need to take a filter paper, immediately you need to start the stopwatch, then you need to place the blood drop. Then what happens to this blood drop? You can see the big circle is going to take place. Later on, next, right, give some fraction of seconds, like half a minute like that. Then next once again you place there. You can see the circle of the blood drop, it becomes what it is called as less, like full moon to half moon, right? And after 6 minutes, you can't find any blood which is being oozing out. Why? Because blood vessels are being healed up because of coagulation of blood. Now what is how this blood coagulation is going to take place? That is nothing but the role which is being played by blood platelets. Blood platelets, they release an enzyme which is called as thrombokinase. What is the enzyme? Thrombokinase. Now let me recall you one more point from your standard 9. We have seen that blood contains two parts, the fluid portion which is called as plasma and also the cellular portion, right? RBC, WBC and the platelets are the cellular portion. And the fluid portion contains inorganic salts as well as organic salts, right? And there are a number of proteins and etc. being present dissolved in this plasma. Such dissolved proteins are prothrombin and also fibrinogen. They are indissolved state. That means what they doesn't do any of the action. Now, so this thrombokinase acts on the dissolved prothrombin and that is nothing but which is already soluble. So that soluble prothrombin is being converted to insoluble thrombin. Now, this insoluble thrombin acts on soluble fibrinogen and converts soluble fibrinogen into insoluble fibrin. So, now if this is a blood vessel which is being ruptured, you can look after the fibrin threads, they start entangled, they form like a network, a mesh, and they trap the loss of what it is called as the blood cells further. So like this, and what it is called as these fibrin threads which are being entangled, that forms the clot, blood clot. And for this function, they require vitamin K and also calcium ions are going to be required. Okay. And as soon as the blood is being clotted, you can find a straw colored fluid is being formed on the blood clot, which is called as serum. right? So generally when you go to some of the laboratories, you will have serology department. In that department they go for antigen and antibody reaction to know about the immunity, right? So that is serum. Serum is the fluid which is collected after the blood clot. If this vitamin K is not being sufficiently present, then blood doesn't clot, and that results in a condition which is called as hemophilia, where excessively, profoundly the blood is going to be lost. Right? And hemophilia and such a type of blood related disorders is due to marriages within closely relatives or close relations, right? And due to some of the genetic disorders, these type of disorders are going to be taking place. And one more type of such a disorder is thalassemia. So where blood is being refilled for every 3 months like that. Okay. So children, this is about today's class where we have studied about the different types of blood vessels and the role of blood platelets, which you haven't seen in your class 9, right? So, and for today's your home assignment, you need to list out the major differences between arteries and veins. This is one thing, right? What is it? List out the differences between arteries and veins. Then the second one is, right, the role of blood platelets in blood coagulation or coagulation of blood. So these are the two. Second question is role of blood platelets in coagulation of blood. So these are the two questions for your home assignment. I will be giving you 2 minutes to copy this into your notebook. Thank you children. Have a nice day.